have had the best time in M6, but it is true that the Swiss stage was pretty rough on a lot of teams that may have gotten a bit unlucky. So I'm sure Aurora has a bit of a bone to pick with this tournament right now. They want to be able to take down everyone in their way and cement themselves back up there as a Filipino team with a lot of potential.
See, so we got Aurora on blue side, TODAK on red, Terra jungling as always, Zayed starting in purple, and Demon Kite with the orange. Of course, early scouting by Renegade and Momo, both looking for the enemy jungler, and they will successfully be able to do so. But of course, Momo's position slightly more precarious, right, deep in enemy territories. But this mid lane should be very straightforward for Zyme Senpoi and Hazelnut.
Looking at the emblem setup as well, 3 Impure Rages on the side of Aurora, so definitely going for hit and run type strategies, including on the Alpha.
Oh. As the flicker from Zyme, if not for Renegade, Demon Kite would have surely gone down. And presence of mind from Zyme Senpoi as always to look for those plays that you usually wouldn't think about.
Even committing the flicker very early on, you wouldn't expect that at level 2, but yeah, if it wasn't for Renegade, that would have been a very early kill, and it would have been huge for Zayed. But even you're going to be feeling the heat right now. I do have to note that Zayed is going for Lethal Ignition on the Suyo. Up until now, most other players have been taking Impure Rage, so he's going for Burst.
And just
wait, go back!
First to win, and there it is! Speaking of the devil, Zyme Senpoi with the first blood.
That was a very unfortunate camera switch timing, but I think we all know what happened there. 3-man gank, really nice initiation by Zayed to catch out Renegade and keep him at level 3 at a very good timing for the turtle. Ouch!
The amount of crowd control TODAK has. Now this one is Zyme Senpoi picking up the kill. This opens up turtle for business for TODAK.
Yeah, they're even forcing Renegade back once again. TODAK taking very solid control of the early game here. I'm actually quite impressed with their positioning, and we're not going to be able to do too much here, as Turtle is taken by TODAK, and now they're trying to steal jungle camps too.
I think they are going to pull back for now, not gonna overcommit, but man, this damage from Vexana in the early game. The Impure Ray, so initial hits are going to really hurt. I mean, based off of that, at least now you kind of free up some room in the side lane. So, though for D, he's still going to take a bit of punishment from Domain.
Yeah, like, unfortunately Granger can still outrange Harif pretty well, so even though Harif is pretty good at dueling early on, it's hard to catch up with something like this. That's why Irritel is still commonly considered as a better counter overall, but Harif may be a more universal hero, though he also doesn't scale quite as well as Granger into the late game. So TODAK actually is playing more of an early to mid-game centric composition. They can't really play late game at all, because Aurora will be able to supersede them in DPS once you reach that point.
And that's why Aurora is shifting a bit of attention to the top side, right? Get Domain as comfortable of a game as he possibly can in the early phase, and make sure that D doesn't get out of control. I mean, regardless of TODAK getting the 2 kills and the turtle, they really don't have any goal advantage, right? Aurora was able to basically make up for the gap.
And now Aurora trying to engage in mid.
Not able to get anything, forcing out the flicker from Zyme Senpoi though. That's pretty much it. So both teams again finding the disengage. Second turtle spawning bot side. Does free up a bit of room for D, but unfortunately, the minion wave is basically reset thanks to the early push. Demon Kite not so lucky, but not enough damage from TODAK to take him out.
But they will be able to steal the orange buff, in fact, and disengage just in time to make sure that Renegade and Yue don't catch them. We see Momo now actually hiding in the backline. Zayed on the opposite side. They want to flank here, but Aurora's position a little bit too solid, so TODAK will just give up on the second turtle.
Great discipline from TODAK, and Aurora goes back to the modus operandi. This time it's their turn to go for a potential invade. Demon Kite was able to steal the golems away. In fact, both teams really mirroring each other pretty well. I say TODAK gets some space in the bottom end as Momo obviously getting that late priority and having the mid-wave big constantly crashing into that turret. But you could say the same for Aurora, where D is just struggling to stay afloat against this Granger who is just constantly keeping him underneath his structure.
I would say that even though TODAK is doing pretty well across the rest of the map, but Domeng is definitely out farming D at this point.
Another burst. Hazelnut forced to use his Revitalize, gets brought back, stolen, Eternal Guard, Momo looking for the chop onto Renegade. Renegade gets out, D shows up with the Zaman Force, but TODAK calls for the disengage. In fact, Aurora tries to catch up with the Guiding Wind, not able to get in range.
This is looking right now like a surprisingly well-matched battle between these two teams, but they're gonna try and defend tower.
Hazelnut even using the AOG gets blown up by Domeng, and now they're stuck underneath the turret, basically boxed in. D goes for the flicker, but can't dash out with the Chrono Dash in time. Edward flickers forward, finds the electrocution, double kill for Domeng. Edward with the third, and again, fast-paced rotations with the Guiding Wind.
Super heavy dive up top by Aurora, and once again focusing on their late game win condition, which is a Domeng. Already 2-0-1 on this Granger, which is not a good sign for TODAK based on the trends we've been seeing today. Anytime a Granger has a lead like this, you gotta stop him ASAP. TODAK, while they had been winning fights up until now, Aurora was still matching in farm, especially on the gold lane, and now they actually have the gold lead.
Aurora has pulled ahead, the first sizable goal advantage. So 1k for now. Because if you are TODAK, see, gonna be looking to try and kind of stem the bleeding, right? You still want these early fights, but Momo is gonna be caught out. That's the Terror fight. Eternal got dropped. Hazelnut losing most of his health, turns back around with the Revitalize and stays alive. And Renegade will be in the red. Yue commits with the stolen AOG, gets gone on by Momo, pulled out once more by Renegade, as this Matilda continues to be that angel, guardian angel for Aurora. But TODAK will get away with the turtle, and that's the Oracle for Hazelnut.
Despite the chaos of the situation, there ends up being no kills, no deaths across that entire turtle fight. A lot of that thanks to Renegade, the Guardian Angel, as you mentioned, with the Flask of the Oasis, keeping people topped up, pulling them out to safety. But TODAK was also doing a great job of juggling aggro by making sure that they would retreat at the time when it was necessary while tanking as much damage as possible. I will say right now that at the end of this game, I fully expect Zion Senpoi to be the one doing the most damage overall, because he was really outputting a lot of poke because Aurora was focused on the other members of TODAK.
Zion Senpoi, as always, hitting most of his abilities. But what do you feel about this Hazelnut Oracle pick? You can hold that dot for a while. Renegade trying to get away, by this time converging from every single angle with TODAK and still not able to get any kills. Renegade surely is going to go down, throws his life to save Domeng. So TODAK gets one.
So the Oracle build for Gatot only works if you have Revitalize, which Hazelnut does have. And it is a risky build to go if the enemy team has multiple Sky Piercers. I'm pretty sure Domeng should have one by now, so if he gets a lot of stacks up, then Hazelnut will be in trouble. But otherwise, this is a slightly more aggressive style of building where rather than direct tankiness, you try to trick your opponent into overcommitting on you because they think they'll be able to kill you, and then the Revitalize along with the Oracle suddenly top you up a lot more than they were expecting. So that is basically what we will be looking at here for him.
Yeah, it's more of a misdirection, I think. I suppose.
Yes.
TODAK.
It also forces Aurora to build anti-heal.
That too. I mean, they have decent candidates, Glowing One and the Sea Halberd for Domeng and Yue respectively. Let's see this Lord fight. I mean, I thought that AI against Bigatron Alpha was like the most even one, but this one equally matched. And to a T, in fact, but Domeng. That's 3 straight shots of the Death Sonata. 4th coming up, Zaim!
Oh, Zaim!
Oh, so close! But without Zaim around, Aurora should be able to get this Lord. Not sure how TODAK's going to contest this. Zayat is on the way, is in the bush. Aurora has no idea that he's dead. That's the AOG from Hazelnut. Zayat now shows himself. Goes try in, tries to look for the full combo on the Lord. Retribution! Zayat gets away with the objective. And TODAK calls for an immediate retreat. Zayed's gonna clear that mid wave on his way out, but needs to get his cooldown though. Renegade ain't letting him go. Brings Demon Kai in. Spear of Alpha is ready, but the Cyclone Eye gets Zayed to safety.
Ooh, my butt was clenched that entire chase right there. TODAK do get the Lord, but they also lose Hazelnut in that situation. Going for the Oracle build does mean that you're going to be less durable overall. So that is one of the risks that you have to play around. But I think it was very well managed. They basically sacrificed the Gatot to buy as much time as possible so that Zayed could come in later. And even then, took a scary amount of damage inside that Lord Pit. This is actually a very even match. TODAK now having a bit more map priority with the Lord, but not having a lot of waves to play with it, unfortunately.
Let's see if they can get that mid turret, because the Lord is already gone. We really gotta give respect to Aurora's mobility. That Eternal Guard, fortunately, hits nothing. So this Lord steal for TODAK didn't really amount to too much, right? They get a top tier 2, that's pretty much it.
Because in the same way that TODAK is able to get the objective, Renegade is making sure that they're not able to get any like easy kills off of their members either. So all of Aurora is still alive to be able to handle any objective pushes. So even with it stolen, TODAK can't really do too much with it. And now a very early Winter Crown on Demon Kite earlier as well. But Holy Crystal timing has been hit by D. So it could be a good time for TODAK to try something.
I think they're looking for Demon Kite. They saw Renegade bot side, so Demon Kite has no help. Diamond Standpoint is going to flicker. Good Winter Cloud timing, but the AOG is going to be the follow-up. Demon Kite eats everything and goes down.
If you ask me personally, I think Demon Kite shouldn't have Winter Crown. I think he may have stood a better chance if he just tried to walk out on his own. He probably would have still ended up dying, but TODAK would have had to commit a little bit deeper for it, and he wouldn't have had to spend the cooldown on a very important defensive item. But that ends up with both teams actually trading tier 2s on opposite sides of the map. Aurora is making sure that whenever TODAK shows up, they're gonna try and get some structures to force them into housekeeping mode.
That's exactly what they have accomplished so far. I mean, still so far so good, right? No goal advantage in any way for both teams. Lord coming up in 15 seconds. Demon Kai will have to wait a little while longer after the Lord spawn for the Winter Crown to come back online.
Looking at the items, third item, Winter Crown, is very early. Demon Kai knows that he's going to be targeted quite heavily. Domeng actually very rich right now. 4 items completed. Malefic Roar, his latest one. It's only just finished the Holy Crystal, but still should be able to do good damage from now, since the stacks on Granger wouldn't be too much yet, though. Look at how much damage Zayem is already taking at this point.
Yeah, two Rhapsodies. I mean, even D is not safe from that. So Aurora, just like that, gains possession of the Lord.
This is why Granger is dangerous.
Yeah, he is. That bot wave is pushing in too, but Zai doesn't want to show himself.
Momo trying to provide vision. Spear of Alpha will just barely miss, but Zayed will be scouted out by the Rhapsody as well. He's not going to be able to find the cheeky steal this time, but on the opposite side...
Man, they're chasing down Momo as Edward gets blown up. Momo able to get away with the sprint, so TODAK finds the pickoff. That means now they get possession of the Lord. Control is wrestled back, but still no solution, no answer to this Domeng Renegade. It's a hit and run combination that Aurora is just constantly putting a lot of pressure on TODAK.
If TODAK was able to get that final hit on Yue as well, this would be very easy, but they're still gonna commit!
Wow, the 2-man circling eagle into the Spear of Alpha. That should be a double kill. Very straightforward. Zayed realizes that the fight is done, needs to run away, but unfortunately you got Domeng and Renegade on your tail. Zayed still escapes, but this Lord pretty much secured by Aurora unless a miracle happens. Renegade just gonna open up the map, no chance for TODAK.
That was definitely a huge mistakes were made moment for TODAK. They had control. Aurora was still responding, they were still making their way back, but they stacked up together, and D got a little bit too antsy there, got caught out, and now they're chasing Zayed, and that's a monster kill for Domeng.
This game has starting to go in the way of Aurora, just like how he did in the earlier phase, but with a lot more solid control. Aurora with the second Lord of the game means that they are going to start cracking some structures. First of all, they're starting to sync up the waves. The mid one is going to be cleared up, but a fresh batch of mid wave will spawn. So, end of the day, I think if you are TODAK, how is the base defense looking like? Because, you know, contrary to AURORA, doesn't feel like TODAK have the same magnitude of the base defense capabilities.
Their base defense really isn't that good, all things considered. Like, they have Zayim and maybe D. Otherwise, like, at this stage, Hilda has already dropped off quite notably, and because of the build that Hazelnut is going as well, he's really not that durable. So, TODAK is more of a team that wants to be in control early to mid. As we can see, they are not in that position, and AURORA has already broken the bot inhibitor.
Tough spot for TODAK to be in. So still fairly healthy. TODAK should have the damage to at least clear out that objective with Diet, trading his life bar for that. So TODAK only lost an inhibitor. This middle one should be easily defended with its current utilities. You know, this considered is not too bad. Because AURORA has amassed a 4k gold advantage off of that.
4k gold advantage at 16 minutes is really not that. A War Axe on the Granger. Wow. Domeng knows that he's able to just keep outputting damage in these team fights because, again, I think the lesson of day 2 is respect the Granger. You gotta draft in a way where you can actually threaten him in the back line. And AURORA was very smart to prioritize this Matilda. I'm pretty sure they already predicted exactly which heroes they were going to get in the first phase. Ooh.
They do lose Demon Kaido. Good catch from TODAK. Skypierce assassination. That's going to be executed on the Hazelnut. The Daxonata are always a big threat. No minute wave for AURORA though, so he can't really push in, but at least TODAK has been able to weather the storm by taking out the jungler.
Taking out the jungler is not bad at all, but I think Demon Kite has already resigned himself to being more of a utility jungler, right? He's not really going to be able to do too much damage since Alpha does drop off late game. D done. Oh, good catch.
They take out Domeng. They lose an inhibitor for that. D is gonna flicker forward. They try to go for the catch. Renajay again, trying to give that 5-star escort out. Will be able to do just that.
Uncharacteristic mispositioning from Domeng Kite right there. Actually getting caught out by the Blade Surge from Zayed Sempoi. So great eye on the Suyo once again. That is instantly a network reversal, right? AURORA had like 3k gold lead and all of a sudden it's only a couple hundred. Even less now that TODAK has secured the Lord. That's how important it is to keep the shutdown gold in place. I can't really remember who got the kill on Domeng, who got that shutdown gold, but it's still a huge gold injection for TODAK.
Essentially, whatever 4k lead we saw from AURORA early on has just dissipated with the wind. Such a technical game. I mean, both teams really pushing each other to the limit. Yue with the lightning truncheon now.
Wow.
Once that extra bit of damage.
Lord, gonna be mid. We can see TODAK taking it slow, looking to sync their waves. If they do this correctly, they should be able to get every single inhibitor. AURORA has good base defense with Domeng Kite, but that can only go so far as well. Lord gonna connect. Still synced with the bottom wave of minions.
And TODAK is going to crack that mid inhibitor. Essentially, going to equalize the structure. AURORA will be occupied with the Lord, but thankfully the minion waves aren't crashing fast enough. So AURORA takes care of the Lord, going to be able to clear out the empowered minion waves. TODAK finds no way in, at least not for now. Unless Zyme becomes a madman again with the flicker terrify engage that we've seen multiple times. AOG from Hazelnut is going to engage, completely misses. They will turn onto him. Hazelnut pops to revitalize, gets terrified by the Shadow Strike. He goes down, and now Domeng is going to chase down D, who is isolated. He needs help. Zayed shows up to provide assistance. Flicker forward from Domeng as D was able to disengage, so Momo gives his life away. Double kill for Domeng, and TODAK's siege has failed.
I do feel like that was a bit too
much,
like,
I agree.
Yeah! I think we have just seen the best example of why I say Gatot is not a good primary initiator. You see the circle, everyone splits up. They even time their ultimates to get the instant counter attack on Hazelnut. And while he did manage to survive for a little bit with Revitalize, it's not gonna matter now that Doming has a Sky Piercer. Right? He still has a good amount of stacks. Lost half of them earlier, but he was probably maxed out before that anyway, so it's still gonna do a lot. And now they have to wait for Momo to come up in another 5 seconds.
No minion wave for Aurora, so mid inhibitors for TODAK still stands, which is coincidentally also the one lane that they have empowered minions over Aurora. Which is really unfortunate because basically it doesn't really affect Aurora too much that they lost the mid inhib. They could easily deal with it. But for TODAK, you have to constantly be doing some housekeeping on the top side now that Lord is spawning bottom.
And Zayed, Aurora can see him on the top side of the map here. They know that he's going to be slow to reach the Lord pit. So they can already position themselves in a way that has better control over it. Even D having to do some housekeeping down bottom. But Aurora will still have to play a little bit careful here about how they want to take this Lord. Now, they don't really know for sure where Zayed is going to be on the map. And they need well, now they do. So, they're still going to keep things even.
Yeah. Zayed needs really one of the biggest steals of this game. But even then, if you're Aurora, you kind of go back to the fundamentals, right? We don't need to rush the Lord, let the top wave push in. TODAK would eventually have to deal with it. So, really is their prerogative to find a way back into the game, to kind of break this wide open and, you know, wrestle the control back from Aurora. Aurora, you're just gonna constantly, you can just keep waiting, just wait for TODAK to make that move.
TODAK will eventually try to do so. Momo trying to scatter them just a little bit. The game can't go either way at this point. Aurora knows there's a wave pushing up top for them as well, so TODAK has to be a bit mindful. Momo running really deep into the back line. Uh-oh.
AOG used. Zayed wants protection, will get it. So Hazelnut ready to sacrifice his life, keeps his immortality. No Eternal Guard, no Zaman Force.
D!
For Doming, blows him up as Doming comes back to life. Demonkai interception! Both goal laners will fall, but Hazelnut will end up going down as well. His immortality will be severed. And that would be Aurora with a double kill for Demon Kite. And TODAK have completely lost control.
Ended up working. Oh, they found Zion as well. Edward with Renajay chasing all the way into the base. And now they officially have the numbers advantage. There's no way TODAK can get back out onto the Lord in time. This was gonna go over to Aurora. Zion, what are you doing here, sir? Trying to see if he can push down the mid lane. Unfortunately, the Lord slain means that he can no longer attempt that.
Yeah. It's ambitious, but fortunately, just does not have the tools to make it happen. Now, surely, I mean, this is the longest game today, right? Hitting the 23-minute mark. Both teams at 66,000 net worth, as even as it can get. See the Bloodwing being bought as well. Last inhibitor should fall.
The question is if TODAK can hold on after that. If Aurora wants to try and rush it down, they actually have to wait for another minion wave. TODAK could be able to defend this. Zion will be coming back soon, but look at the damage from Aurora.
Man, Hazelnut just lost most of his health. Oh, they found the knockup of the Earth Shatter. That's Momo gone. Lord taken care of, but Zayed disappears. Hazelnut tries to stall it out. It's D's time to pop out with Eddie, but Renajay faced it with the Winter Crown, and he is gone. Doming finds a double kill, and Aurora takes game 1.
Despite their best efforts, TODAK not able to stop Aurora from pushing straight in and taking the game. It really was anyone's game up until the very end there, but in that final Lord fight,